And now, time for the Sprite ice-cold keys to the game. And looking at San Antonio, Clark, what will be the key facing off against the Hornets?
Well, Kevin, you know the deal here. Against pressure like that, you got to squeeze the orange. And the steals have increased because the defense has been stifling. But you know what? They'll gamble, looking for those steals. So if you take care of the ball and use some ball fakes, you might have a chance to burn them with some easy ones.
Clark, what about New Orleans? What's the key for them?
Emeka Okafor really has improved, a high-percentage shooter and a force on the board.
He was such a great college player at UConn. Has he disappointed you as a pro?
Not at all. I thought he would be solid, reliable, and consistent, and he's proven to be all of that.
It ought to be a compelling game to watch. Thanks, Clark. Okafor gets the bucket. Emeka Okafor was such a sensational college player. He has not really had that same translation to the NBA. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think he was geared towards being a solid, productive, everyday player in the NBA. And that's what he's been. He's a double-double guy who blocks shots, but he's not ever going to be what I would call a marquee star in the NBA.
And here are the Hornets now. Peja hits the jump hook.
He's just so gifted offensively. He's a tough guy to match up with.
And so here is San Antonio. 4-point game. They come into this one following the loss to the Grizzlies.
I really think this was a wake-up call. I mean, we saw them play way too lax.
Terrific work on the glass. Way to go up strong inside.
West inside. A strong finish to throw it down, and he'll go to the line for one more.
That's his first personal foul. First team foul.
McDyess is in at power forward. No good, and they don't get the three-point play.
That makes them 4 or 5 now. Their first miss of the game. Terrific start thus far.
To Parker. McDyess a screen from 17 feet out. The shot is off. The Hornets go the other way with the ball. This is the second outing of the season against the Spurs.
You know, Kevin, I don't think they frittered this game away. I thought they battled, but it wasn't enough down the stretch. They had a couple of key breakdowns, and that was the difference.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game. Shooting at a high percentage. All teams aim to do that. Let's see the league's best. Look at New Orleans, the most efficient team in the NBA in terms of scoring.
With all of the great shooters they have, it's almost easy to think that they would shoot a high percentage. But there's some other factors at play here. They're unselfish, they set good screens, they move well without the ball, and they're disciplined in that they don't take just any shot. They want the best shot available, and that's usually what they get.
The Hornets on a bit of a roll here. Paul with the nice look.
They've been unstoppable. What a strong start.
The Spurs are trying to stop this run.
They really need a bucket to get their offense back on track.
Here's Parker. It's rebounded by West. And it's the Hornets with the ball. They defeated Indiana in their last game.
They did a lot of things right. An awful lot was done right, especially at the offensive end. I thought they did a nice job exploiting every possession. They were smart with the ball, and they really looked very fluid. Nothing was forced.
And it's the Spurs with the ball. New Orleans coming up empty. Here's Parker. Dumps it off. The Spurs will hold on to it. Let's check out the Western Conference standings right now that we're here in the new year. Take a look at the Spurs. Here in the middle of the regular season, they've been able to get the 4th best record in the conference. And, of course, there's the Hornets, 4 games back.
Well, it's always nice to come home. You're comfortable, you're excited, and certainly you have the fans there looking for you to bring your best basketball and get a win. And oftentimes your fans can energize you when you're in your home building.
Duncan. And it's Emeka Okafor with the rebound.
Well, he can't believe that one didn't fall. Those are usually automatic.
Here's Paul. Offline. Manu has picked up his first foul of the game. Clark, it seems like I ask you this question all the time, but I look at Chris Paul, so many great attributes. Let's do a little history lesson here. Who does he remind you of? Is there any game that you can start to compare his game to that you've seen in the past? Like an Isaiah Thomas?
I would give him a little bit of tiny Archibald-ish nature.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going way back.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
But a good comparison nonetheless.
Yeah. We'll have some of our gamers here having to go back to the archives to check
they'll
out
like that, though.
Yeah,
They'll
but
like
you know, the ability to create and score and also really set up people effectively. Maybe a touch, a pinch of Isaiah Thomas as well in that regard. More so maybe from the competitive fire of Isaiah. Isaiah was a feisty, competitive, tough, hard-nosed guard, and I think Chris Paul has a lot of that in him as well, to go along with the endearing smile and the assassin's mentality when the game's on the line.
Ginobili with the ball. Not a good performance from him in that loss to Memphis. Now Paul. The Hornets bring it up. They're on a 14-4 run. Here's Grant from short range. Finishes with the soft touch.
They're really giving them all they can handle here. The defense is having a hard time keeping up.
Finley. Six seconds to shoot. Finley. Can't get it to fall from downtown. Here comes Paul. His last outing, 16 points for him. Dumps it off to Armstrong. Connects from in close. And as you mentioned, the defense a step slow, trying to defend this offensive onslaught.
Yeah, Kevin, I mean, when they're shooting at such a high percentage like they are, they're really difficult to beat.
Here's Parker. And here are the Hornets now. The break is on. New Orleans turns it over. We'll go the other way.
Spurs ball.
Let's check out the NBA blocks leaders. Well, you look at Duncan, second in the NBA, a great defender.
He's really an intimidating presence down low. I mean, he's always active, and he's looking to block the shot. You can see the effect that has on every game because he's a guy that you have to be aware of anytime he...
Substitution on the court.
Now Finley, averaging 8 points a game. Here's Parker, takes it up. The Spurs will get this one back. New Orleans is just getting everything they want inside.
Points in the paint have been the story so far, and I don't think it's going to change unless this team starts defending with physicality, bodying up without fouling.
Ginobili kisses it off the glass and in. The Hornets got out to a good start.
They've had terrific ball movement. They're keeping their heads up and passing up good shots to get great shots.
We're at the end of one, and it's already a double-digit lead. The score, 18-6. Thanks for staying with us. The first quarter was one-sided, but there's still a lot of basketball left as we get into this second quarter. Ginobili with the ball, averaging 20 points per game. And looking at next Wednesday, it'll be Deron Williams and the Utah Jazz as they take on the Spurs at the AT&T Center. Start time set for 8 o'clock Eastern.
They're a lot of fun to watch right now.
You're right. And so here is San Antonio following the score by New Orleans. Duncan with the bucket.
For me, Tim Duncan is one of the greatest power forwards to ever play the game. His efficiency and his skill level is what makes him one of the greats of all time. He's a guy that I think would have been an outstanding player even if he was only 6'5", because he can handle the ball, he can shoot it, he's got a tremendous IQ, and his footwork is fantastic. You hear me? Fantastic. 5-star footwork, and he's got all the shots with his back to the basket, and nobody shoots the 15 to 17-foot bank shot any better than Mr. Fundamental, Tim Duncan.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. Here's Parker. Not on the scoreboard yet. He's against Okafor. Six seconds to shoot. Stolen away. And it's the Hornets with the ball. It's a 14-point game. Here's Grant. Drops it in on the layup. He's got 8. A challenging stretch for San Antonio here. They trail by 16. Here's Duncan. Hits the jump hook. Nice bucket by the 13th-year veteran out of Wake Forest. Here comes Paul, averaging 18 points a game. Grant gets in close, gets the lay-in. Here's Parker. They trail by 16. Here's Ginobili, off from three-point land.
Tough break there, Kev. He found an opening on the floor and got a nice clear look. Just didn't convert.
Grant, covered by Parker. To the elbow, off the screen. From close range, graceful finish.
Great pick there. The defender was stopped in his track, and it freed up the easy basket.
Duncan, a screen. Dumps it off. Here's Ginobili. Nets it from the wing. He's got 6.
The pick worked to perfection, and he had all the room he needed to get off the jumper.
And coming up this Friday, it'll be Hasheem Thabeet and the Memphis Grizzlies. They'll be hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. The game gets going at 7 o'clock Eastern.
You can count on it that both teams want to win.
Yep. And it's the Spurs with the ball, following the score by New Orleans. Ginobili. Grant snatches it inside.
He really needs to hit that consistently, or they'll just keep letting him shoot it.
To West. Jefferson on him.
2 minutes remaining.
Peja from downtown. It's hauled in by Ginobili.
You can't usually afford to leave him alone out there. Big break for the defense.
Now Finley. Here's Parker, dumps it off. Here's Jefferson, trains it for 3.
This is called you must extend your defense, especially on the three-point marksman.
And here are the Hornets now. They led by as many as 18 points. Grant backs in. West to the wing. There's the buzzer, and that's a shot clock violation.
Spurs ball.
Let's now take a moment to view the league's leading rebounders. Well, you look at Duncan, a terrific rebounder, 5th overall.
He's an absolute beast down low. Excellent anticipation. He blocks out extremely well, knows how to use his body, has excellent hands, and he has the strength to take rebounds away from opposing teams. He's simply one of the best in the league.
Here's Parker, looking for his first bucket of the game. To Hill. Cuts off the pass.
I think this quarter particularly, we're seeing them having trouble keeping possession of the ball. Far, far too many turnovers right now.
And here is Hill. 41 seconds left in the second. Poked loose. And it's the Hornets with the ball. They lead by 17. And Clark, when you see the kind of plays where they're unable to run their offense, as a coach, you start getting concerned.
Oh, without question. I mean, you have plays set up, you know your players can run them, and then they throw the ball away. You don't like to see that. They're not concentrated, trying to make a play, but it's about court awareness, understanding not only where your teammates are, but where's the defense. You've got to be able to understand and see both. They'd be smart to hold it now for the last shot.
Paul. Kept alive. Drains the easy jumper. 8 points for him.
Boy, he's really doing a nice job taking advantage of what the defense is giving.
The Spurs with the last touch. And a quick look now at how San Antonio's schedule is shaping up. They'll be matched up against Houston. The Hornets changing it up.
Man, this is ugly, Kevin.
Yeah, it's definitely been a one-sided game so far. The clock runs out and we're heading to halftime. The score, 36-17. Okay, it's time for our T-Mobile halftime report. Let's have a look at the team stats from the first half. The Hornets have been getting out in the break at every opportunity. Those open court buckets have certainly added up.
They built a comfy lead, and after a quick breather here, I think they'll build it even higher.
Grant has started off well.
You know, Kev, he leads the game in steals. No surprise, given his intensity and his activity.
Welcome back to the start of the second half. You know, some of the fans at home are hoping for a comeback here. We'll see if that can happen as we start this quarter. Here's Parker. No points for him. Here's Jefferson. The shot, no good. And New Orleans will take it the other way. To the paint. Here's Okafor. Lays it in. Sweet time to lead into the rack. Nice shot by the 6-year veteran out of UConn. Duncan hangs in the air. Grant gets the board inside. Here are the Hornets with the ball. To West. The jump hook, good. He has 6.
Way to distribute the basketball.
Ratliff. Here's Parker. Off his leg, and it's whistled a kick. Let's take a second now to view the top pickpockets in the NBA. Well, you look at Manu Ginobili. Such quick hands, second in the NBA.
What makes him one of the very best at coming up with steals? He's got the long reach, the long arms, but he's got quickness and anticipation as well. And it's one thing to have those ingredients, but it's another to use them smartly at the defensive end of the floor. And for a coach to have a guy like this, it really frees you up. You just let this guy roam, and he's going to make plays for you at the defensive end.
And here is Mason. Here's Parker. Here's Ratliff on the money.
Just like they drew it up in practice, Kevin. Sweet dish inside.
New Orleans dictating the flow. Here's Grant. Tries to lay it in, but it doesn't go. And here comes Parker. Ginobili misses the 3 after the nice pump fake.
He's been AWOL this quarter. When his team is down and in need of some scoring from him, he hasn't shown up.
Here's Okafor. Nails the baby hook. 9 points in the game so far.
The defense didn't challenge the shot, didn't get a hand in his face. And from such close range, that shot's a gimme.
Here's Ginobili. Off target from downtown.
Decent look there, but not for him. He's been struggling all game long.
We're at the end of the third quarter, and we've got a blowout in the making. It's 55-26. Grant has played his heart out. 14 points, 6 assists, and 3 rebounds.
Absolutely. He's scoring well, and he's doing it with excellent efficiency. That's the key. He's playing within himself and getting good looks.
The fourth quarter about to get started here in what's been an entertaining game. Welcome to the fourth quarter. The wide margin on the scoreboard tells it all. This one is probably over, but you never know. Anything can happen. And it's the Hornets with the ball. Here's Parker. It's stolen by Grant.
And you know, he's really struggled this game holding on to the basketball.
Ginobili with the ball. Finley on the low block. Stolen by Paul.
Outstanding jump on the ball, Kevin.
And the amount of giveaways from him, unexpected.
Totally unexpected, Kevin. I mean, you just don't look for him to turn the ball over like that. You really don't expect it from anybody. He's just having a really tough go of it.
And Finley gets it to go.
He detected the early opening there and took advantage. That's a smart decision.
New Orleans dictating the flow. West nails the bank shot.
That's what makes an offense flow. Good execution, smart shots.
Here's Duncan in close. Parker leads the game in assists. And it's the Hornets with the ball. Here's Armstrong.
Oh! What improvisation. He turns every dunk into something special.
Parker dumps it off. Down low. Here's Ginobili. Buries the triple. He's shooting 16% from downtown. And it's the Hornets with the ball. West backs him down. New Orleans turns it over. We'll go the other way.
Spurs ball.
And it's going to be a good weekend starting Saturday. It's going to be LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers as they'll host the Oklahoma City Thunder. Start time, 7:30 Eastern.
You know they're going to be extra hyped up for this one.
You're right. You're right.
Substitution.
And so here is San Antonio. Here's Parker off the inbound pass.
Great execution on the inbounds play, and they get the basket.
Daniels with it. 1:40 left in the game. To Okafor. Buries the short-range jumper.
Way to close out an opponent. Kevin, I think we're done here.
Here's Parker. Buries the free throw line jumper.
That's exactly where the coach wants him to get his shot, Kevin, right there from mid-range.
Grant inside, lays it right in.
Easy look in the paint. The defense got abused there.
The Spurs will call a full timeout. They're down by 28. 1:13 left to the fourth. The Hornets changing it up. Now Finley. He's got 10.
Substitutions on the court.
And it's the Spurs with the ball. Grant with an assist. This trip would have a double-double. From short range. Gets the bucket and the foul. That one on Jefferson. Some changes for the Hornets.
Shooting one.
Good for the three-point play. Here's Parker. He has 5. Behind the arc. Jefferson's shot is off. Grant with an assist. This trip up would have 10 for the game. Here's Armstrong. Tim Duncan with the rebound.
Looked like he had the angle. That's a bad miss that close to the goal.
Parker. Now Finley. Laid in softly off the glass. He's got 12. 8 in this quarter alone. New Orleans dictating the flow. The Hornets can just dribble out the clock to end the game. Here's Grant. Drops. He's got 23. The Hornets cruise to a win as they blow out the Spurs 76-45. For his steady play, Grant is the Jordan Brand player of the game.
Well, he was the initiator and the playmaker for their offense, Kevin. He kept his head up and created a bunch of easy scores with his passing.
Well, that's it for us. On behalf of Clark Kellogg, Cheryl Miller, and me, Kevin Harlan, thanks for tuning in to NBA Basketball on 2K Sports.
Are you ready for your glowing review? I'd like to start off by saying that I thought your shot selection was fantastic. Taking the right shots gives your team the best chance possible to win games. Moving on, you were solid on the boards out there. That kind of tenacity will define you as a player, and that's a very good thing. Let's see if you can repeat that performance next game.
I'm talking about roots, I can't hate well.